So, thing number 2 asks you to do is to construct 2 theme statements. You'll see those are here and here. They're bolded. Obviously, it's not laid out as those are the first 2 things on the slide, but if you want to come up with the theme statements first and then go hunting for quotes, just make sure that you go back and add them in the right order so it's clear what is related to each thing. So, for The Alchemist, theme statement number 1, in The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho asserts that the key to happiness is perseverance. Now, after the theme statements, it says it wants you to pull quotes for each theme. A lot of times in the past, people who do not pay attention to me when I'm going over the question, like some of you now, think quotes means 1 for each theme statement. That's 2. That means I have quotes. What it means is 2 for each theme statement. Okay? For something to be a theme, it needs to appear in more than 1 location in the book. The minimum to prove something appears in more than 1 location is 2. So that's the minimum. I'm asking for the bare minimum to prove it's a theme. All right? So, after you have your statement, you have your quotes. First one, there is only one thing that makes a dream impossible: to achieve the fear of failure. Okay? And here's your second quote. The secret of life, though, is to fall 7 times and to get up 8 times. So you have first quote, then you have the word and, second quote, and then you have an explanation of how these quotes match this theme. Achieving a dream makes a person happy, and these quotes make it, typo, I'll have to fix that. Make it clear that the only thing preventing someone from having that happiness is being afraid to fail. People that are persistent don't succumb to a fear of failure. Also, people that get up more than they fall down show perseverance, and in the book that leads to happiness. So you'll notice both quotes are discussed in some way, both are linked to the theme, right? Good, we move on. You have your second one, in The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho asserts that society often distracts people from pursuing their dreams. Quotes, everyone seems to have a clear idea of how other people should lead their lives, but none about his or her own. Okay, that's the first quote. Second quote, if someone isn't what others want them to be, the others become angry. Okay? Explanation. These quotes show the way that society tries to influence people to not follow their dreams. In one quote, people share their ideas about what role a person should play in the world. And in the other quote, people get angry when people pursue their dreams instead of conforming to expectations. This pressure can distract people from pursuing their dreams. Right? Again, you have your 2 quotes, you're trying to talk at least a little bit. Like, that's not a gigantic paragraph. It's like 2 or 3 sentences explaining how those quotes match that theme, and then you move on. It is not how much you have to include here that makes it the hardest, it's how much you have to think that makes it the hardest. Most of the other ones here require far fewer quotes, far fewer analysis, far less thinking. Okay? Tomorrow, I'm going to go over questions 8 and 9, which realistically, the best way to do those is to do them at the same time. Work on them together. They're both characters. They kind of link to each other in a lot of ways. We will talk about those tomorrow. Ideally, you finish this today. Tomorrow, you move on to 8 and 9. The goal is, by the time you walk in the door Monday, the minimum, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be ahead of that. You could and ideally would be ahead of that. But the minimum, you should be done 5 slides. Okay? At that point, when you come in the room on Monday next week, we'll have talked about 7 of the 9 questions. You should be pretty close to feeling like, oh, I'm getting close to wrapping up this presentation, right? We're gonna go over on Monday the final 2 questions. You're gonna have some time to work on those. Next Wednesday, rough draft. We'll do a peer review, and then the following week, your final draft is due. Questions? I'm gonna fix that typo because it's driving me nuts. I hate it when that happens.